Good afternoon and welcome to Championship 9-Ball. We are, of course, ACCUSTATS. I'm Grady Mathews in the booth with Mark Wilson. And what a contest we have for our viewers to peruse, Mark.
Well, Grady, I'm really looking forward to this match. Two of my favorite players of all time are going to be playing, and this is the epitome of the U.S. Open, Buddy Hall and Efren Reyes.
Yeah, both past winners, two of our greatest champions, contrasting styles, perhaps.
Oh, definitely contrasting styles. Buddy a little more, what would I say, compact with his stroke and his swing, and Efren a little more of a free-flowing game. And then doing a little pre-match analysis, there's very little that you could give one player a huge edge over the other in any area. Their breaks are relatively similar. And the only thing that I could see is, and it's the same edge that Efren has over everybody, is maybe in the absolute object ball control. He can maneuver the balls on the table unlike any human that we've ever seen. And the other edge I give Efren is edge in the physical conditioning. And I don't know how much that will weigh in because it's relatively early in the day. But
well, I was talking to Buddy. He's lost some weight, and he's been doing the things recommended by this book, Eat for Your Type, which means eat for your specific blood type. And he's been able to eat like he normally does. He just doesn't eat as much. And he's feeling good and playing well, and this should be a great match.
Well, Buddy's set to make the opening break with the 8-ball on the wing, the ball that's been going in the most often. It didn't go directly in, it got kissed in, but it did go very near the pocket. Buddy's picked up a pretty good offensive opportunity here with the 1-ball near the corner pocket. But
he's kind of straight on this shot, and the 2-ball is down kind of in the middle of the lower end rail. How does he get back for the 2-ball?
Well, I'm sure he'd rather use the rails, but if we get to see a patented Buddy Hall draw shot, it's one of the prettiest strokes you'll ever see. It's got that long pause at the end of the backswing, and then it comes through. It doesn't seem to hit the ball very hard, yet the cue ball goes a great deal of distance.
Now here's a shot that I can reach, being right-handed and fairly slim. I can just reach my body across the table and reach it. Now playing this with the bridge, I don't think he can get position here, Mark.
We call that being belly hooked, and that's when your belly gets in the way of the end rail and you have a hard time getting all the way down to reach that cue ball.
I didn't think there's no way to do it.
So physical conditioning actually has come to bear right away here.
But now I like knocking the 2-ball to the middle of the end rail and trying to put the cue ball behind the 4-5. I really don't use much in the way of English here.
Will he bump the 6?
Well, maybe, but he's using right English, which is another way to kill it a little better. Oh, he's going to do this. Okay.
Well, that's a nice shot if he's knocked off at least half of the ball that Efren can hit. If Efren can hit the whole ball, Buddy's not going to end up liking this outcome, I wouldn't think.
Well, you can see the whole ball, we're told, but I don't believe there's a shot here. I think he'll try to bring the cue ball back behind the 7 and maybe knock the 2-ball down to the end rail. Let's see how he plays it. Just like this, right? He just hit it too thinly.
And he's left Buddy a pretty good shot compared to where I thought he would be.
Yeah, right. He just hit it too thin. Well, for Buddy now, I like going up and down the table. And he's going to have to use a touch of right English. But Buddy hits this kind of shot about as well as anybody in the world. He doesn't like to run into balls, so he's not likely to see him do that here.
I've always loved Buddy's stroke. It's pretty to watch. Comes right through the cue ball so effortlessly. He overcut it just a hair, didn't he, Grady?
Yeah,
he was expected to stay a little more centered.
Well, this is okay.
You know, an edge that I would definitely give Buddy to is in banking.
I don't know about that. Efren, when he played in the bank tournament, I was amazed by his banking ability. Now, I don't know if the 4-5 combination is on. If not, he'll have to come around the table planning to play the 4-ball in the side pocket.
I'm not even sure he's looked at the combination, but we'll be able to tell by where he's played position. He was able to cut that in.
Yeah. I don't know that this 5-ball handles easily with the cue ball over the 7-ball. See, if he hits the high side of the 5, it's possible to scratch the side off of it. unless he hits it easy, which that's probably the thing to do. Oh, all right, he can just draw this back. He got straighter than I thought, and he has room to strike his left part of the cue ball. All right, nice shot. Okay, I didn't know he could do that. Now, if he's straight in, he can just draw it back a foot or so. Just anywhere kind of in the middle of the table is okay here. Okay, he's following it, which means he's probably got to cut it to his left slightly. That's perfect. And now he'll just float up one natural rail.
Buddy was recently elected to the Hall of Fame, and I know he felt very honored by that.
Well, you wouldn't find a more richly deserving man. And you know, I heard somebody say the other day, kind of spitefully, that they didn't think that somebody should be elected to the Hall of Fame while they're living. Well, I disagree vehemently. Why shouldn't a guy who's earned that right enjoy it while he's still alive? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me at all.
I totally agree. I don't understand that either. If Buddy Hall wasn't going to be in the Hall of Fame, they shouldn't have a Hall of Fame, is my feeling. He's won tournaments in the 4 decades that I know of, and he's won every big title that there's ever been. He won a U.S. Open, 2 years ago?
Yeah, no, was it 2 years ago? Yeah, I guess so.
So he's still playing at high level. Okay, right. Buddy's run out the first game here.
Yeah, so 1-0.
Buddy was originally from Paducah, Kentucky, and I think he now lives in Seffner, Florida.
Metropolis, Illinois.
Metropolis, Illinois.
Yeah, about 10 miles away.
Home of Superman. Efren's from Angeles City in the Philippines. And that's really the world hotbed of pool. Philippines.
Angeles City?
Well, the Philippines in general. You go to Manila, and there's probably 30 more players that would have an impact on the top 30 Pro Tour players here.
Oh, I believe that, sure.
These guys play rotation just night and day.
All right.
Buddy set to break. 7 balls the wing ball.
Well, he's not hitting the balls hard.
Buddy's not known for a hard break. He doesn't have a real power break. He only breaks in the 21 to 22 mile an hour range. He's on the low end of the average for the pros.
Well, you might as well shoot at this. He doesn't have to. He can play safe, though, and go over behind the 8-4-3 like this. Buddy might be able to see part of this ball.
And I think the 8 ball might cause him a little bit of a problem, but he's for sure going to be able to hit it and do something with it. Offense does not look to be a possibility.
Former world 8 ball, former world 9 ball, former world straight pool, former world 8 pool champion, member of the Hall of Fame from Owensboro, Kentucky. Give it up for Nicky Varner, please. Thank you. Still up there, Thompson versus Frank.
Nothing looks easy here, does it, Grady?
No. If he could get into the low right-hand part of the cue ball, I might consider knocking the 1 ball towards the 2 ball. 1 rail, then the 2 ball, and try to just kind of come back towards the 4 and 8 ball with the cue ball. I don't know if he has that luxury. I think he does. That seems to be his best chance to get this safe.
And at the very least, get the cue ball on that back rail somehow. Although he's hitting with a little higher ball than I thought, so he might not be doing that.
I think he tried to make that.
I think you're right. Judging from the disposition of the balls as they finished, I think he was getting position for the 2.
Now, does the 3 ball pass the 4 mark? If it doesn't, this is a tough position shot to get from the 2 to the 3.
Well, it's awfully difficult to tell from our perspective, but it looks like it may.
Well, the angle that he played here, he could play position for the far left-hand corner, but if he goes 2 rails around the 6 ball, then that tells me that it goes. Okay, it does go. And
nice speed, too.
Yeah. I assume that the 4 also passes the 8. So he's in pretty good shape here. You got to be a little careful with the 7 ball, but that shouldn't be a problem given the lie of the 6 ball, which is close to it. Now he can play the 5 ball in the corner or the side. A lot of times I'd rather play a shot like this in the corner of the 5 ball, like this. You try to get perfect for the side pocket, you end up getting out of line and have to go to the end rail or run into something. Now this is perfect. You can go forward a little bit, just like this. Nicely done. Perfect angle to get on the 7 ball on the side pocket.
A good speed, and he's chiseling through this rack pretty nicely. He carves these racks up, boy, and I'll tell you, he demonstrates some finesse and some touch that is beyond the capabilities of the average mortal.
Oh, that's true. Rempe's playing Roger Griffiths, Vagar Christensen playing Nick Varner. And this is lovely too. This is a little more angle than what he wanted, but this is okay. You can hit this with no English or a little bit of right English if you'd rather. I like hitting this with no English at all. He looks like he might even go around the 9-3 rail.
I think he wanted to use a little bit of pace on that ball just to give himself a little better chance to feel good about his stroke. Not have to make one of those intermediate strokes, but make a good full swing through the ball.
Okay, it's 1 each.
And if there's an area of Efren's game that's not as up to the rest of his levels, would be his break area. That's, a lot of times, the times he loses, he just doesn't make balls on the break.
We did commentary on his match last night with Archer, and when the match was over, Archer had run out 5 times from his own break. Efren only once, and then not until late in the match, the second of the last game, I think it was.
It's hard to beat a top quality player if you don't really generate some offense from your break, and they do, because
well, over the years, traditionally, Mark, the tournament winners have run out about 1/3 of the time from their own break, and you have to do that. If you don't do that, you're not going to beat these great players. Now, Buddy, I've always thought that he was one of the best adjusters to not breaking the balls well that I've ever seen. He beat me in the finals of a big tournament in 1986, soft breaking the balls, and I've seen him do that to other guys. If he doesn't get results, boy, he will change.
Efren set to break. He's breaking from closer to the middle of the table than what most of the players have been. 5 ball's the wing ball.
Well, that's his power break, which won't hurt our ears.
He did make the 3 ball, however.
Made the corner ball. Now, do you shoot at this or do you bank at it? I don't know. Matter of individual preference, I guess.
You know, I remember a match, Grady, that you beat Buddy 11-0, and that was when Buddy was playing about as well as he ever has.
Yeah, I remember that with some fondness too. But I've lost. Nick beat me 11-0 once too, so no big deal.
Well, Efren played the bank shot. He's showing some banking prowess here in the early going.
Now this angle here, I think he's going to have to float forward. He can't get out very much because he's almost straight in. He's going to take a look at it. I think he's going to go forward and maybe out 4 or 5 inches.
And just accept a fairly long shot.
Yeah, I think he has to do that. If he tries to follow down to the end rail, he risks getting snooker behind the 5.
Well, 9 ball's a game that plays better that way. If you go ahead and just accept a proper angle with a longer shot, that's the way to play the shot here rather than run too much risk.
This would be a just above center ball, a touch of right hand English, like this. That was the right shot. Now, he might be able to draw around the 8 ball. I can't tell for sure. But I believe he can do that. He's looking at it. What he can't do is come out underneath the 8 ball and have comfortable position.
Well, this is borderline. This is a very sticky situation, and this is one of these that the 8 ball looms so large, sometimes it impairs your focus, and you end up missing this ball.
Good, beautiful shot of Efren on the screen there. Oh, he missed the ball. Well, also the 6 ball's laying tough because it will only go in one pocket.
And he came up off that shot awfully quick. If you were to watch that again, I would venture to say his body was moving before the tip had struck the cue ball.
Yeah, surprisingly.
He normally does lift up just a little bit on his delivery, but that one was a little bit more pronounced, it appeared, and it looked like he was just a little uncomfortable with the whole shot.
Now, Buddy just doesn't like to run into balls. He just thinks that's the wrong way to play pool. So you won't see him going into the 9 ball here. It's awfully easy to end up with a difficult shot or no shot on the 5 ball. He would rather play good position on the 5 ball, and then maybe he can get position for that one pocket that the 6 will go in, and if not, play a good intelligent safety.
If he doesn't run into this, what type of a position will he use here?
Well, he looks like he's going to
just go over there between the 9 and the 8 and hit the long rail prior to getting to the side pocket.
This doesn't lay comfortably. See, if he tries to go 2 rails, miss the 9 and come underneath the 8, he might accidentally scrape the 9. Some funny things can happen here. So I don't know. Maybe his best shot is to try to go into the 9 and hit it thinly. I don't know. Now, what Efren does with stuff like this, he loads it up with inside English and doesn't touch anything, and he's got position. See, that's what, that was the shot that, well, look how nicely he did that. Mark, he's got perfect position to draw back for the 6 ball. Is that lovely?
That was a beautiful shot. That was a world-class shot right there. Good judgment. He thought it out, and then he executed it flawlessly.
Well, I always thought Buddy's creativity when it came to finesse position play was better than anybody's anyway. He finds a way of making it simple.
And look at this nice touch on that draw shot. That was the classic patented Buddy Hall draw shot.
Now he's in business, 2 rails probably out towards the 7 ball for the side pocket.
It's really exciting to watch these guys manage the balls like this. This is something that you just can't get with something less than 40 years of practice and experience. Experience is not something that's taught, it's earned.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch Buddy lumber around the table in classic style. Playing near perfectly. Well, that was one beautiful run out turned in by Buddy.
Absolutely gorgeous. I love to watch technical expertise rather than just running around the table shot making.
Well, he said something to somebody.
Yeah, sometimes Buddy has gotten a little bit more temperamental and emotional here in his latter years, and something was bothering him in the audience, and he just politely went over and asked whoever it was to refrain from doing it.
Okay, 2-1 Buddy Hall. We've said this all week, but more than 300 players, quite an international tone to things. I don't know how many players came from Europe and Asia to here. I don't think we had any Australians this time. We had one gentleman from Russia, though.
We had England represented, Canada, Mexico.
Yeah, Norway, Sweden, Finland.
And, beyond the scope of how many people come, it's amazing at the talent level they bring when they come. I mean, there's guys here that you've never even heard their names, nor do they speak a word of English, and they don't miss a ball.
That's true. Yeah, they play very well.
It's really a heartening thing to see when you see that much enthusiasm and exuberance for pool. Okay, Buddy set to break. Looks like the 6 ball is the wing ball this time. That's most likely to go in. And it's falling just a little short of the corner pocket. He got the 1 ball to go in. Earlier today, the wing ball was shooting in like a bullet.
Now, it's hard for... I can reach this shot. I don't know if Buddy can or not. And I like thinning it on his left-hand side and trying to go down behind that 5-ball cluster, that being the 3, 4, 7, 5, 9. That's what he's looking at. Well, he plays well opposite-handed, so he can reach it that way.
His stroke looks so smooth opposite-handed. If you didn't know he wasn't left-handed, you might think that he actually is his natural hand.
Well, he hit that thicker than he meant to by quite a bit.
Oh, and I know he's very dissatisfied with that outcome.
Well, he didn't take quite as much time as he usually does. Now, for Efren, he can just draw this back a little bit, or he can go down to the end rail and up a couple of feet, like this. Well, he didn't get much inside English on that.
You know,
There's a nice
he's
shot.
dissatisfied with that, even though he has a good shot. He's a perfectionist like many of the top players are, and he expects to have the cue ball on a string and put it right where he wants to. Now he's missed his second shot of the morning here. This being afternoon in Chesapeake, but it's pool player morning.
Well, Buddy has to be delighted after that poor safety that he made, just to get back to the table almost instantly. But this is not an easy safety. See, if he thins the 3-ball, cutting it to his left, and tries to come down behind the 5 and 9, the 6-ball is maybe a bit in the way. He can't thin it the other way. Now, there's a thick hit safety, but it takes a really good hit, and you don't gain much.
I think we're going to see Buddy make a 3-rail safety here and try to get on the long rail over there behind the 9.
Well, I like this, but you got to try to miss that 6-ball.
Well, he's played a 2-rail safety.
Well, it's slowing down. He didn't get there. He left him straight in. Well, Efren gets another chance. I would suggest he probably should take advantage of this one.
Yeah, he's made a couple uncharacteristic little glitches in his swing here where he stood up one time, and then the last shot that he missed, he didn't hit very well either. Last night he got started a little bit sluggishly as well, but he came on like gangbusters. And
Sure.
And like anything, once they get loosened up and dialed into the match, I'm sure the quality of the performance is going to rise.
I see that's the best way to play that shot. No reason to risk trying to use it just above center ball and finesse the cue ball forward when it's an easy shot to play position for the corner.
If ever we were to fault Efren, it would never be in his shot selection. That's one thing that he just, you can just, whatever you think he should do or whatever shot you think he should play, and the one that he chooses is always going to be the right one that he picks. Some of the other players here, sometimes you can question their decision making. Efren makes some execution errors, but he doesn't make very many judgment errors.
No, but every once in a while he has an off day, and then he will make errors in judgment. It's rare, but it does happen.
Didn't you tell me that his stroke wasn't due out to the year 3000?
Yes, I said that, yeah. That's true. Not only that, if I'd have had him when he first came to the United States, and I'd have made at least $1 million gambling with him. I mean, with the stroke that he has, there's a lot of high-rolling gamblers that would have played him nonstop. At any rate, we're knotted up 2 games apiece.
Well, Efren hasn't played all that well, and the match isn't really long enough to get a statistical evaluation, but let's say something about our statistician, Pete Fleming Jr. He really does a tremendous job, doesn't he, Grady?
Oh, they all do at Accu-Stats. They sure do.
Yeah, we got our sound man, Billy Foster, and the cameramen. They're always getting glorious treatment from the announcers, and they're deserving. They do great close-ups, and they endure a lot of the hardships of the fans bumping them and getting in the way, and the volume of time they have to spend behind the scenes getting prepared for one of these matches. It's nearly the same amount as these guys prepare to play these matches.
Yes, you're sure right. do a great job. And Efren has fallen short again, making a ball on the break. And I just wonder if that, what that portends for his chances of winning this match, because if he doesn't make some adjustments and begin to make balls on the break, I don't think he's going to defeat Buddy Hall.
Well, we've had the benefit of watching quite a few matches on this table, and I maintain that he's breaking from the wrong side of the table to make balls freely. Everybody that's breaking from the right side of the table, as you see it on your TV monitor, they're having a much greater amount of success than what we've seen Efren have from the left side.
Now, I'd like to show something on the telestrator here, if I might. If he has the angle that I think he does, he can bank this one ball over here, try to make it, but I like using left-hand English. The cue ball goes 1, 2, and back up this direction. He have a great chance to get safe if he doesn't make it. He doesn't have a good kick here. Oh, this is after the break, so he's going to, he can roll out, okay.
He's going to give his opponent an opportunity to make a mistake.
Well, when I teach people, young 9-ball players, I tell them to do that in a tough spot. Tempt your opponent to take it. Now he's got to say to himself, what's he going to do if I give it to him?
Efren's passed this difficult shot back. And while there is some chance for success here, this is a very difficult chance.
Yeah, of course. Well, see, my shot, the one ball, you're not likely to make it, but it goes straight back and forth across the table, and you do relatively handle the cue ball. I'd like it to go on the second rail back towards that cluster of 4 balls on the far right-hand part of the table, like this, but I use inside English.
You might have scratched on this, yeah.
Well, that's a really hard shot. But this is a tough lie of balls. The 4 doesn't go anywhere. Mark, look at it. And the 3's on the lower left-hand side rail, so it's tough to get position on it to get somewhere where you can make the 4.
Yeah, this is one of the tougher runouts, or one of the tougher layouts we've seen in a while, and this is going to really be a test of the magician's ability. And it's beautiful to watch. I would still, despite the fact that I see no way to run out, I would say that Efren's at least 50-50 to run out from here.
Well, it's not no way. I mean, the 4 goes in a couple of pockets, but you have to be close to it, and there's no comfortable way to get there.
For you or I. This man here, he comes up with some things that can put the cue ball in the right place.
Well, I see he could play position for the lower left-hand corner pocket. That's one thing he could do.
He maybe got just a little bit straighter than he wanted to, and now he's going to be forced to pop this a little bit. How's his speed, Grady?
Well, that's a nice shot. That's a nice shot.
What a shot.
Well, his rotation skills help him a lot in situations of this nature. Now he'll load it up. Oh, he had even better
Look at that
shot than
speed.
I thought.
He's the maestro on moving these balls around.
Gotta be careful about the 8
Does he
ball.
separate the 8 and 9 here, or no?
Well, if he can go forward and play position for the 6 and side at the same time, then yes, but I don't think so.
Oh, he almost missed that.
Well, he knows it, too.
Yeah, his confidence seems to be just a little bit shaken here in the early stages.
Well, I like playing position for the 7 ball in the same pocket here. And trying to get a little beyond straight in. That's what he tried. Now, this is perfect because he just draws it back and plays the 8 ball in the far left-hand corner pocket. But the key to that whole rack was getting on that difficult 4 ball.
What a pretty run out we've just witnessed here.
Yeah, that it was, and he's going to adopt a 3-game-to-2 advantage.
Now, he's still got a little work to do here. We've conceded this prematurely.
Well,
He's laughing because he's dissatisfied with his position, not because he's not going to have a winning shot here, but it's a little more work than what he really wanted to produce. You know, he's one of the most beloved sports figures in the country of the Philippines, and when you go over there, everybody knows him. They regard him with the same feelings that we do, maybe a Michael Jordan here. Wherever you go over there, he's beloved.
Well, why shouldn't he be?
Well, he's kind of the people's champion, and he's very generous to his fellow man and very kind. And
well, I've said on occasion, sometimes he'll give a maid $100, which that makes him a hero in my mind. I mean, I try to be humble about things. I have a lot to be humble about, but I wouldn't care to clean up other people's dirty linens for a living. And a guy that would tip a maid $100 is a great guy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've been over there with him when he's won some modest stakes money games, and before we left the pool room, he'd given virtually all the proceeds away.
Right. All right, this time he made a ball on the break, but he has no shot on the one ball.
He doesn't play pool for money. He plays pool for the love of the sport, and genuinely so. He's not the only one, but he's the one that's probably the most glaring example. And you can see it's reflected in his play. He's always studying and practicing, and he's interested to watch other players. And even when you don't think he's watching you, he will come up with something.
Well, now,
later on.
if he can hit the left side of this one ball thinly, using left English, there's a good safety here. I'll show you on the monitor here. He can knock this one ball here and here. The cue ball with a lot of left English. One, and even if it hits a 7 or 3 there, it kind of dies, or it comes above it and back this way. I don't think he's got a good kick here. Oh, he's going to roll. Okay. Well, I sure wouldn't give this to Efren.
Or anything else.
Well, if I'm going to play safe here, I like hitting the left side of the one ball and using quite a bit of left English. The question is, can you get long enough to get around the 7 ball from this angle? I don't know if you can. Or he can play it off the 6 ball down towards the other end of the table. See, he was able to get around the 7.
Well, he wasn't really able to come out of that. And I know Efren kind of had a plan in mind of what he was going to do, and he also knew that by pushing out that close proximity, he might tempt Buddy into making a shot that he really wasn't going to be able to lock Efren up with. Efren's kind of an ingenious that way. He plays shots to tempt his opponent that he knows that they don't have a high success ratio on.
Well, there's a lot of things he can do here. He can bank the 1, but I would only do that if the 2 ball passed the 4 into the lower left-hand corner. Now he can thin the ball, cutting it to his right, and come down here. He's got the 4, 2, and 9 ball to maybe put the cue ball behind.
Now, this is a testy situation. He's weighing all the possibilities out, and he's going to come up with the best choice. This is going to be a soft speed safety, and you've already recommended against rolling safeties. But,
well, I hate those shots. They practically always come out bad. Even when, if he's snookered there, that's an easy kick for Buddy.
Yeah, you don't want to leave the balls close together for these great players. They can just manipulate them too well. You need distance for sure. Does Buddy have a bank shot?
Yeah,
here?
he does, but I don't think he can get on the 2 ball, so he'll probably play safe. That's a nice shot.
Oh, super nice shot.
He's a former WPA World 9-ball champion, former winner of the Challenge of Champions. Ladies and gentlemen,
yeah, he had a bank shot, just couldn't do much with it.
From Nancy, Germany, Mr. Ralph Souquet on table 12. Thank you. 7 o'clock, winner's bracket action. And the survivors of the afternoon program.
Now, this is a good shot.
Mass A between the 4 and the 9. Well, he hit it nicely.
Might make that. nope, not quite. Oh,
And,
he's got a shot here.
He's got a shot. He's got a tough position play, but he's got a shot.
Well, yeah, and you know what's hard about this is if you miss the 5 ball, then you have to go between the 4 and the 7, which means you have to take a long shot, and or you might even hit something. This is a very tough shot.
If you accidentally go a little bit too thin, this is even missable. It's not right in the jaws. It's just hanging outside the jaws. So his ball's in the way, and yeah, he bumped the 7.
Well, that's what I meant. It was.
You know, that turned out just as ill-fated as it could have, because he hit a pretty good ball there to get it going back up in that direction. And if he does anything but land solid on an object ball, he's going to get some kind of a shot. That was just a little unfortunate.
Yeah, well, that was an incredibly difficult position to play anyway. Okay. Now, I don't think he can hit anything but his right side of it, so I think he's going to thin this. Or, oh, he went for the bank. Okay, nice shot, nice shot.
The old Rifleman played a bank shot, a pretty nice shot. Once again, he collided into a ball and was the recipient of kind of a adverse roll.
Well, he's a favorite to make this bank if he wants to shoot at it, and he can get position here. I like using low right, just a little bit of right, and coming down 2 rails and playing position for the 4 ball in the right-hand side pocket. This is eminently makeable.
And he's queuing up as if he feels very confident about this bank shot.
Well, oh, he kissed it.
Yeah, he's...
Well, he got a little fortunate.
Yeah, he
there.
left a pretty testy little shot to initiate this run.
Well, this is one of the shots I love to watch Efren shoot anyway. If it's cuttable, he cuts stuff like this with inside English. And
he's looking at cutting to the side, but the 6 ball's a problem, coming with the cue ball 2 rails out of the corner pocket there.
But it doesn't, he can't cut it in the corner, I don't think. There's no bank.
If he did try to cut it in the corner, the side pocket would be a problem.
Well,
Tried to kill it with inside spin.
that's the first time I can ever remember seeing him miss that type of shot. Even though it's difficult, he seems to always make it.
Part of the reason he missed that, I think, was in the avoiding the 6 ball with the cue ball. He was trying, and he hit it a little bit too fat to flatten out the cue ball.
Yep, you're probably right. And our buddy's fine here. He can just draw back a little bit just to not be over the 9 ball.
Yeah, but he's looking good. The transfer from the 6 to 7 is the only doubt left in this rack. And if he picks up the proper angle, that will be
Well, you know what I
greatly
like?
simplified.
I like going 3 rails to get on that 7. I like getting up right around the middle of the table. Well,
Which he's done.
No, but not from this angle. This angle, I like going 1 rail. This is fine if you get this. But he can't go 2 rails or 3 rails here.
And this will be just a little top right-hand English, and bring the cue ball between the 7 and the 9 to play the corner pocket that the 6 ball is going to go into with the 7.
Nice shot, nice shot.
But he got just a little more angle than he would have ideally liked. He's going to have to work a little bit. He was hoping to just kind of coast through these last 2 balls, and he's going to have to put the full force of all his mental effort into this stroke. Shooting to just a half a pocket.
Good shot.
Hit it with a nice speed, too. He didn't try to baby that in. He struck it in. And he's going to tie this match up 3 games apiece.
Maybe we can get an average and see what they're shooting in a minute. Which is always, I kind of expected this to be close and interesting anyway.
Well, Merlin Glodek on the character generator has been having some trouble with our equipment, and don't know if we're able to get those up, but it's all fixed now, and we'll get to see a result of Pete Fleming's work. Buddy comes up and gives the rack a little inspection. He's not quite satisfied. He's calling Efren back to the table. He's found that the 3-ball was just off the back of the rack, just a smidgen. After a week of play on these tables, the racking gets to be a little bit of a difficulty.
Well, there's the numbers. A little low for these two great champions, but it's early on in the match. I expect those to go up considerably as the contest progresses.
These tables, these breakers really chew up that rack area, and it gets hard to freeze those balls as the week goes on.
Yeah, it reminds me of the tee box on a par 3 golf course, you know. It really does get chewed up, is right.
This cloth is new 5 days ago, and then it gets used about 20 hours a day. And in a week's time, this cloth is nearly obsolete.
We'll try it again here. Efren says. And Buddy's still not happy.
You know, it's awfully hard, even under ideal circumstances, to freeze all the balls. And at some point, there has to be kind of a compromise as to what will be accepted or what won't be accepted as far as the rack goes.
Or they may end up having the tournament director, Scott Smith, rack the balls. You never know.
But I'm saying even when Scott racks them, he's not going to get everything frozen perfectly either.
No, but
You'd make
whenever
your
that
best
happens,
effort.
I just accept what the tournament director gives me. As long as I'm getting the same rack that the other guy gets, that's all I care about.
I don't think that there should be any question about that. I think in the effort of if the tournament director, who's impartial, racks the balls, I think the discussion's over at that point. If he proclaims it to be a good rack, then it's a good rack. Because otherwise, you could carry this on forever.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can rearrange the balls in the rack, and sometimes you can rough up the nap of the cloth to get a little better settling of the balls, but it's nigh impossible to get everything frozen perfect. And some of these guys become very picky, and sometimes it's almost in an effort to get you off your mental game here, just to aggravate you a little bit. Under ideal circumstances, we'd have a neutral rack, but unfortunately, we don't have that capability with the state of the sport at this moment. Scott Smith has seen that there's a little bit of a problem. He's kind of heading this direction, so we may, in fact, get a neutral racker.
Well, there have been different things done to solve that type of situation in the past, Mark, such as change the spot, move the spot up an inch, sometimes break even from the other end.
Yeah.
So we've tried some different things on occasion.
All good suggestions, but still nothing would take the place of a neutral racker or an impartial neutral racker that would have the all power to just say this is the rack that you're going to get and break them. And this isn't good for the fans either.
It's not good for ACCUSTATS either. Do you want to take a short break, Pat? We'll come back in a little bit. I think the rack is finally resolved, at least for one game.
Had I been Efren in that circumstance after that lengthy delay, I would have rolled 2 balls out with my fingers as well and said, no, it's not going to be satisfactory, and carried on, and forcing the issue that somebody's going to have to make a ruling here as to just how we're going to do this, because otherwise this is just going to go on rack after rack.
No, Scott won't allow that to happen.
Well, Buddy's made the 9 on the break after all that.
He just shook his head. That's mighty suspicious, Mark.
Yeah.
Look at him. That's funny, huh? He looks like the cat that ate the canary.
That's really why Scott needs to intercede and make a call there and say this is the way it's going to be, because you can't have a circumstance of that nature to come about.
Well, that happened in Milwaukee, and Earl forfeited his match in the finals when Scott said that he was going to do the racking for the remainder of the match.
Buddy's being kind of charming about it, just moving his bead only halfway over and putting his hand over his face with embarrassment. But nonetheless, really, realistically, Scott should rack the balls and that play should commence.
He's shaking his head. Now, what would you do if he made it twice in a row?
Well, that happens, and we've seen it on this table before. It goes right into that left corner pocket the bulk of the times we've seen it made. Oh, this last time it didn't go in direct. It was kissed over there. Before it had been going direct over there.
Well, it headed over there that direction. Now, he made a ball on the break.
Sounded like that wing ball went in, and Efren really needs to find the right half of the table to break from next time he gets a chance to break.
Now, see this shot, Mark? This is a place where if I want to shoot, and Buddy loves to shoot, I'm going to push the cue ball like an inch more off the rail and tempt Efren to take it. I don't care if he takes it because there's no easy safety. It's an incredibly tough shot. You don't even have to have position. And if he makes me take it, then at least I'm a little more comfortable in the bridging of the shot and so on. I wouldn't just...
But I don't like to push out to a shot that I feel my opponent's going to take.
Yeah, but this shot here, you can't comfortably shoot it and get position on the two ball. I'd be glad if my opponent took it. And there's even a scratch here.
Buddy's planning on running into the 7 if he hits it pretty well, I think. What a nice shot. He just whistled past the 7 ball.
That's what I told you. You don't get position anyway. I didn't think the 2 passed the 3.
It doesn't appear that it does, but he is down examining it.
Well, if it does, then he's got a nice shot here. Boy, that was a smooth stroke. That's a really tough shot.
Yeah, he made that look easy.
There's a nice shot of the Rifleman grip hand.
Oh, and there wasn't enough. Boy, he really spiked that ball in. He's picked up a little bit at the wrong angle, but
yeah,
he seems dissatisfied, but he's got to be elated to pocket the ball from that distance.
Can he draw or follow this and come underneath the 7? So I think it lays okay to draw 2 rails underneath the 7, not to follow it. So this is a pretty shot. Low right-hand English. He'll want to hit about the first diamond to the left of the far right-hand corner pocket like this. Nice shot.
Look at the action on that ball.
Right.
He just looks so smooth going through there, and that ball just takes off like it has a life of its own. And that was one of those patented Buddy Hall draw strokes that we spoke about earlier in this match.
Now he can just kind of stop here if he wants to and have the right angle to get on the high side of the 6 ball.
And now Buddy's chiseling through a rack here that had quite a bit of work in front of it.
Yeah, and a tough rack. He made a great shot on the 1 ball, the 2 ball, the 4 ball, or 3 ball, whatever that was. Yeah, it was a 3 ball. And now he's in business.
Now the optimum angle here is to just get back out to the center of the table and play 2 cushions position for the 9.
No, he'll play 1 cushion here.
1 cushion?
I think. That's what he likes here. See, if he gets in the range of the side pocket or anything beyond that, he's perfect. And I like this a lot better than 2 rails. You'll miss it going 2 rails once in a while. This is not missable for a great player like the Rifleman.
Well, the problem going across the table twice, 2 rails, is that you spend too much time in no man's land.
Yeah. Well, he did go 2 rails. Okay.
Well, he must have not got the same angle that we thought he had.
Yeah,
if he had been a little straighter, he would have drawn straight back.
Well, either way, it's okay.
It turned out ideal.
All right, 5-3.
Efren's not going to venture up to rack him again at this point.
Well,
I think he's semi-infuriated over the turn of events here. And I don't blame him.
is Scott going to rack the ball?
Well, somebody's going to. I'm sure Efren's not going to go up there and trouble himself further.
Well, I like a lot of the other guys, Mark, find it kind of insulting to have somebody like eyeballing every, every little bit of space in the rack. I mean, it's kind of degrading. I don't like to go through that myself, so I'd much rather just have somebody rack them.
Well, you can do it once, but you're not going to be a fool and walk up there and go through that thing where the guy's going to run you around when you put your best effort forth.
Well, I come to the tournaments to play pool, not to rack balls anyway.
And Buddy doesn't even give it a cursory glance because he knows that to intercede and override what Scott's decision is as to a fair rack is going to create problems.
Yeah, but if he comes up dry a couple of times, that'll change instantly, I suspect.
Five ball didn't go, and that was the wing ball. Looks like nothing else is going to go either.
Well, he's going to end up, I think he's going to pay a short visit to the 7-ball city jail.
That's not really easy. You mean have the cue ball lodge on the 7?
Yeah, well, or he could, better shot really is to bring the cue ball down around.
You were correct. The 7-ball city jail is exactly where he is. And he's confronted with a pretty difficult one-rail kick.
Yeah, sure is. I know Efren's game, and I know how I like to play safe, the style of game, and so on. And that was the best shot. He saw it instantly, no reason to waste time.
This particular angle coming out like this, that ball really tends to skid long, and that makes for a tough hit. And it's a pretty small ball, being it's out in the middle of the table. It's something just less than 3 balls width that he has area-wise.
See, this is better. This is easier to see.
Easier to hit.
It might go in the side off the 4-ball. I'd try to hit the inside of the ball.
And he used English to create that very effect, and that was one of those percentage plays that these top players put in their arsenal of weapons.
Well, I would have whacked it, though, to give it a chance to get some distance.
I think when Buddy was going to decide to elected to play it with English, when you use warp drive, that makes hitting the ball so much tougher than if you can use that nice smooth delivery. You feel
but I
pretty
didn't
good
mean
about
real
it.
hard, just a nice medium speed.
So Efren's got a little chance to play offense here. He's got a fairly thin cut into the side.
Yeah, but that again is his forte.
And he has not achieved the ideal optimum angle to pocket the 2-ball anywhere. He's faced with another very difficult cut into the opposite side pocket. And only a limited reward. There's no assurance of getting position for the 3.
Well, the 3 doesn't go anywhere. He's shooting this like it passes the 4, which I kind of thought it might.
You are correct. Maybe the 3 passes the 6 then as well. It must, because he wouldn't have played a shot to get to nothing.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't look like that would go from this angle, but...
Ooh. Grazed the rail, but he used good speed, and these pockets
they're accepting balls. Yeah.
Generously accepted that one.
Now he's in pretty good shape here. He can just draw this back a little bit.
For the viewers at home that want to improve their game, that just goes to show you why you should use soft speeds. The pockets are far more forgiving on a slightly errant hit.
Well, it gives you a chance to get away with a bit of a bad hit.
Had he hit that with any volume of speed whatsoever, that would have banked away from the pocket or rattled the pocket and spit out. That was a nice shot. He had to go forward. Used a little bit of high right-hand English and brought the cue ball around 3 cushions.
Now you can just kill this with inside English, I think, like that. Nice shot.
For how soft he hit that, he's got about 1.5 feet of bridge length out there. Only a 1 or 2 inch backswing. And he's working the cue ball nicely here.
Well, he would have liked a little more angle. He's got to hit this just a shade harder than he would have desired. It's kind of a flat ball hit, maybe a just below center ball hit, slightest little bit of English. Well, isn't that odd how sometimes the simplest of physical things or of basics can cost you?
Buddy comes to the table with a free win.
I don't know. This afternoon, thus far in this contest, Mark, Buddy's technical game has been perfect. I mean,
he's making great shots and good decisions.
Don't you think he's been on the right side of every ball and in every creative position play he's done perfectly? And when you teach somebody, you tell them, well, you know, when you make that, whatever that ball was, you come out 2 rails and get in the middle of the table, then all you have to do is lag the 8 ball in and you're out. He got that awkward angle.
Yeah, that was a very stiff angle, and just as I spoke, he fell short on his position. He didn't really achieve the angle. When the balls are close to the pocket, sometimes you take it for granted. You think you got enough there, and that angle was kind of tricky, and he hit a bad ball, cost him the game. And like you said, Buddy's not been falling on the wrong side of balls or just a little bit too straight in to.
Now notice he came up dry only once, and he eyeballed that rack.
Yeah, I think Scott's made a decision in his own mind to just put the rack down and walk away and go on. Okay, well, it looks like we have the 4 ball as the wing ball here, the one that's most likely to go in. Rimmed the pocket. Buddy nearly scratched, but the 8 ball pushed the cue ball out of the way and went in the side pocket itself.
Now, do you think that happened because Efren missed that really easy 8 ball? Do you believe in karma of that sort?
Well, what happens is you expose yourself to more bad things when you miss the 8 ball. Now the guy makes the game, and he's got the first offensive opportunity of the subsequent rack. And it does seem to avalanche on you when you kind of compound your mistakes.
I don't know that the 1 ball goes here. If not, he's going to have to play the combination or the billiard on the 2 ball, or bank the 1. That's his 3 options.
Well, the billiard doesn't really look on.
No, I agree with you. He's looking at the combination, I believe.
I think the 1 ball passes, though.
Okay, well, if it does, that would be his shot.
Combination's pretty tricky from there.
Okay, good shot. He knew he had to hit the right-hand part of the
He
pocket.
kind of hung in there and gave it a little body English once it was on its way.
Well, he's just performing splendidly. It's a real pleasure to watch him this afternoon.
He's fallen into a real nice mode here, and he's putting on a little Buddy Hall 9-ball clinic for you. Well, he's not happy with this angle. It's just one of these little, these little things that, boy, there's a lot more work to it. The difference being, if had he gone 1 more foot further, it'd been very simple.
Well, I like drawing this back to the short side of the 5 ball.
I think the 7 ball's a little bit of a problem for him.
Somebody's got a camera there, and I think it's distracting him.
Well, as I said earlier, in the last couple of years, Buddy's become very emotional and very temperamental about some of these aspects of the game that he used to just take for granted and go ahead and play through.
Menopause?
Could be.
Just kidding, of course.
Made a nice shot there.
Oh, that was a great shot.
Played it right into the 7. Rather than try to take the 7 ball out of the picture by going around it, he used the edge of the 7 as an aid to help stop the cue ball from going too far.
Where would you like to be, being a right-handed player, to shoot this 6 ball in, and I assume play position for the side pocket? You want to be able to reach it, but you don't want to be too far from it. So.
I kind of like to be on the long rail there, and then I can use a little bit of inside English and kind of concentrate on coming off the 9 ball, maybe almost like a 2 rail.
Okay, but what he's got to watch here, now see, if he hits the end rail first, he wants to hit the 6 and then the 9.
I think he's going to be able to just draw. He's going to hit pretty full ball. No, he came off the inside.
Well, that's the right way to play it, but you got to make sure you don't hit the rail first. The cue ball just dies on the rail if you do. Anyway, that nice left-handed stroke of his stands him in good stead once again.
He's going to take a lead here of 7 games to 3 if he clears off these last 2 balls.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Well, I think he's going to grumble and growl, and then I think he's going to bank it in 1 rail.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is a 1-pocket type bank. But I don't know if he can reach this.
Well, we do know that he can reach it left-handed. And he hasn't elected to use the bridge in any of these circumstances before. Well, he's overcut it a little bit. Efren's going to get an opportunity, albeit a difficult one.
Well, I'm really surprised. We crowed about his technical perfection here this afternoon, and he got a little out of line. You know, those shots like he had on the 7-ball, it's so easy to catch it a little thicker or a little thinner, and you still make the ball, but it changes the direction the cue ball goes.
Well, he was a little funny angle. He just tried to do it with speed, and it got away from him. Now, Efren had to kind of straighten that bank up, and he overdid it a little bit. Can't really fault Efren for the shot. It was just that difficult. And these tables on bank shots, I noticed it seems like they've been grabbing or banking a little bit shorter than we're accustomed to at these new tournament tables.
Well, sure. When I did my pre-match kicking system checks, they were coming off 2 to 3 inches shorter than is normal for new cloth conditions. Now, do you like the side? What a nice shot on the screen there. I think that's where he'll play it. Nice shot.
And Buddy didn't really have to pay the price for a mistake. He now takes the lead 7-3, as we previously stated, although we didn't know there was going to be yet another inning involved.
Let's see if we can get some updated numbers and see what they're currently shooting.
Yeah, Buddy's bank missed short as well as Efren's did, and Buddy's was of the much simpler variety.
Well, but not left-handed. That's a tough shot to shoot left-handed, even if you have a little ability opposite-handed like he does.
Yeah, bank shot, there's just no such thing as a dead bank, as amateurs will forecast them to be. You know, you can miss any type of a bank.
Oh, surprisingly low, Mark.
Yeah, there they are in the screen, and both players shooting in the 800 to 804 range. And that's vastly sub their average. Well, Buddy's going to give the rack another cursory glance. Leading 7-3. If he can get some offense generated from his break, he can go ahead and close this match out pretty easily.
If he puts a rack or two together here, Efren's going to be hard-pressed to make a comeback, although, as you suggested earlier, he did that very thing last night, getting the 10-all from a 5-10 deficit.
Well, the wing ball shot in like a bullet, but he let the cue ball slip away, and that wasn't the intentional cut break that he used, the reason it went to the rail. He just mishit the head ball just a fraction. But he's going to play a push out.
Well, he's not going to get this.
Efren's going to gratefully accept.
I wouldn't have put it here. He's going to thin this to his right, and the cue ball back down here behind the 6-7 and the 2-3. You got to be careful not to make the 8-ball or the 1. You snooker yourself if you do that.
Well, this is not the customary Efren Reyes safety here. He's missed that ball by a fair margin by comparison to where he would normally have it.
Now, Buddy can thin the 1 ball on the left side also when it comes a natural 2 rails down here behind the 6-7.
Yeah, I don't think playing offense here has much of a dividend. Well, he's hitting downward on it like he wants to play offense.
Well, the combination.
I don't think it's combination. I think it passes by there. I just think it's that difficult.
Well, but he can't get on the 2 ball if he does.
Well, he's going to spike down and draw across the way he was queuing up, but I don't think that's going to be advised. I think he's going to refrain from shooting that shot. He'd like to play offense. It's just not available. Well, he is playing offense if he shoots at it like this. See how still he keeps his body on this delivery of the stroke. Yeah. He tried to play offense, but that 3 ball was a huge impediment there. He's pretty much sacrificed the whole game on this shot.
Well, I can't make that shot that he just attempted when I'm practicing. There's no pressure on me. In tournament conditions, it's almost impossible, in my opinion.
Supremely difficult shot, but he really doesn't want to get into a protracted safety battle with the likes of Efren Reyes, despite Efren performing way below his normal standard.
Yeah, he's made some poor safeties in this match, hasn't he?
Uncharacteristically so. I can't recall a match that I saw Efren perform as poorly as he has here in this match. Right now, it almost seems like every ball is in doubt.
Well, it's that way when you're struggling.
Yes, it is. Just like pulling teeth. Every shot looks tough.
Okay, now he's going to play the 6-8 combination, and he'll be careful to control the 6 ball as he does so.
You know, Efren's not really a chronic practicer like many of these young guys are. He's kind of more like an artist. He just comes up and performs. He would warm up for 20 minutes, a half hour before his match and go. Or some of these guys, I kid them, they might as well just go ahead and weld their cue together. They never take it apart anyway, you know.
Yeah.
That might account for a little bit of this disastrous match here. He's got the great billiard knowledge, and that never leaves him. That doesn't really need much honing. But execution-wise, he's fallen short of the mark here more than once.
One rail around a 7 here. Just like this. Good shot.
Now, a couple racks could really do something for his confidence here. If he could get a little something going, he could get his pocketing power and his confidence back up right away.
Well, making a ball on the break and having a shot at the lowest numbered ball would be a big help. At any rate, our score is narrowed somewhat. It's going to now read 7 games to 4 Buddy Hall.
And I firmly believe it's essentially get over to the red side of the rack. You know, sitting next to us here in the booth is Jimmy Wetch, and he's pointed out that Efren ran out the rack with his break cue now. And that is not that uncommon. When Efren's playing bad, he's very superstitious, and he will switch cues around and change configurations with
Do you
shafts.
remember when he first came to this country, he had a $9 cue. I never saw anything like it. I mean, the thing was in tatters. It was stained from who knows what, coffee or
Well, the cue that you're talking about, he still plays with that cue, and I kind of like to describe it as like an 8th grader's woodshop project that would have gotten a C grade only. I mean, it was fairly crude on the fits and the joint, but the thing has the densest maple shaft you've ever seen. That shaft must weigh 4 ounces, and like I said, he's kind of superstitious, and he just believes that cue has good luck in it.
All right. If I see this right, the 1-2, and then he's going to have to play the 3-9-5 combination. Trying to get he wants to lay right on the 3 ball so that he can control the 3 ball when he does this. Or if it lays right, he might be able to play the 3 into the underside of the 9 and then make the 5, and in that fashion the 3 ball would stay there.
Score is now 7-4, and I think you've made a real good assessment of the whole rack, Grady. I wouldn't add anything to what you've said.
Well, I like the ticky mark, don't you? And that's T-I-C-K-E, accent mark on the E. And that's where a ball hits one rail, exactly, hits another object ball, and then continues on to achieve some desired result.
Well, he had to rub off the 7, and he really didn't want to have to go into the 7 ball there.
Well, now from here, he's got to play the combination, doesn't he?
And and he's got a little longer distance here. It'd be controlling the 3 ball just a little bit tougher.
That's a gorgeous shot.
Yep.
Gorgeous shot.
Now he's going to be rewarded with a 3-9 combination. He's going to extend his lead back to 4 games.
Now, you'll be careful here. Take his time. Hit at the nice slow speed. Kind of a just below center ball. Just kind of float that 9 ball in like that. Good shot. 8-4.
8-4, and that was the thing that Efren least needed, was an unforced error on the break. Letting Buddy right back into the match.
Well, despite how great a player Efren is, Mark, I'm surprised he's still in this star-studded event, given the way he's broken the balls the entire tournament. You just can't beat great players unless your break percentages are relatively high.
You know, one of the guys was sizing up his match against Archer last night, and they were saying that they wanted a 1-game spot with Archer. And I kind of thought about that for a minute, and I said, well, geez, he's already given you guys the break, you know.
Yeah, right.
He has struggled mightily with his break at this event, and a couple of the tables earlier in the week weren't breaking well, and he struggled there, and then he really hasn't produced much on offensively on this match on this table that is allowing balls to go in on the break. It's just not hitting him real good, and he's kind of a little bit defeated that, like that last break he let up on it, and letting up on it, you would think you would gain control of the cue ball, and he lost the cue ball even at that. He probably didn't hit those balls last racket, something less than 20 miles per hour, which is a little bit below the lowest average pro.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that it wasn't his most powerful break.
We're going to take a short break also. Now, as I was saying, Mark Efren on his soft break isn't even avoiding scratching. One of the tenets of soft breaking the balls is you never scratch.
Well, he certainly seems a little dejected in this match, and maybe even a little mentally detached. I don't know. The turn of events hasn't lent itself to having a good attitude either, but it's not classic Efren Reyes.
No, it's not.
He can regain that, though. I've seen him down when the chips are down before and make mighty comebacks. So he's not completely out of it, but he really needs to hope that Buddy starts making some mistakes here. Efren's now re-entering the arena. Buddy's set to break here in the 13th game, leading the match 8-4. Buddy keeps going back to that same old good spot. The 3-ball will be the wing ball, the one that's most likely to go in, breaking from there.
Well, you remember how you mentioned earlier that you didn't think Efren was even breaking from the proper side of the table. That's something Buddy never does wrong, nor does Varner. They know which side of the table yields the best results.
Efren's changing
see that
shaft.
9 goes towards that pocket?
The 9 was heading, but nothing else went into the pocket. So
no, it might have gone if it hadn't got a kiss on the 5-ball. Now, this is Efren's last hurrah. If he doesn't run out here, this match is over with pretty much.
Well, he's attempting to regroup, and I notice he's changed shafts on his playing cue. He ran out last time with his break cue, and he's kind of superstitious, and sometimes he just likes to change the configuration of things just to try to generate a little more feel or just to change something up. And I happen to agree with you. This is a must-do rack, as he almost overcut the 1-ball to initiate it. Picked up poor position, and this is just not classic Efren Reyes pool right here.
Well, it's hard to miss the 4 and 7 here. How do you do that?
Well, I think that's the problem. That's why he's weighing it out. You certainly want to be careful not to get too much focus on that 4 and 7, or you'll end up missing the 2-ball here.
Well, if he was able to hit the 8, that was okay, but not easy. And this isn't getting any easier. He can't follow this. He's got to elevate the cue or roll it. That looks to me to be his only 2 reasonable options.
Now he's digging into the match here, and like you said, it's subsequently getting more difficult as we go along. Just making the ball will be enough of a challenge without having to try to warp the cue ball out of there somehow.
Well, if he digs into this, well, now this is, I don't think he can miss the 9-ball, can he?
Doesn't look like it.
Well,
He's going to have to accept a tougher shot. And I think that's by the speed of the use, the nature of the shot. I think he realized that himself.
well, this is a very difficult shot, trailing 8-4. And on top of that, he can't just completely roll it in. What's he going to do? Shoot the 5-ball in between the 8 and 9?
I guess he's going to use some power and try to get to the middle of the table. Now the 6-ball's loomed in there quite large.
And we have another adventure.
But we're going to see maybe a rail first, or just a rail first with a little bit of masse here. Looks like he can get around it, and the 5's proximity to the pocket makes it pretty reasonable to pocket. Now he's maybe over-thinned the ball, and he's picked up a pretty tough shot.
These guys right here, I can.
He's elevated out of the pocket, and he's going to have to spike down on this ball a little bit. And this is a real challenging shot, and he grazed the 9. This whole thing has just gone completely to pieces. as you said before, that was kind of a must-do rack to get back into this match and have a shred of hope of pulling this off.
Oh, Buddy's outplayed him clearly, as evidenced by the current score. And Buddy's a great closer, and I believe this match is over with. Efren's body language suggests it. The score reflects it.
And Buddy can see a weakened opponent here, and he would like to go ahead and draw blood as much as possible while he can. He even has kind of picked up his pace here a little bit, and he's looking a little more chipper about the outcome. Occasionally, he kind of portrays a kind of an adverse or negative attitude during his matches, and he shows some displeasure and some emotion, and somehow his high degree of technique overrides sometimes a little bit of negativity in his attitude.
See, he's such a perfectionist. He's unhappy at being this far from the 8 and straight in. It means that he's got to follow it down.
Well, he's not accustomed to having to play from back here. He's generally, when he's on his A game, he's right up there, another foot closer.
Right. Well, these tables from some angles come off a little slow. That's a nice shot.
Yeah, he fought that right on in there and made a terrific shot.
All right, our score is going to read 9-4, Buddy Hall.
And Buddy will be breaking from his favorite spot, in the table's favorite spot. And uncharacteristic of most of these top matches, we really haven't seen too many break and runouts in this match. I don't know if we've seen but one.
No, but Buddy's play has been really excellent. You know, when he's thinking great like he is now, and he executes just like he wants to, I mean, he's an awfully pretty player to watch in action. He was wiped off the cue ball, I think.
And he's far from in his prime. He's down a good half a notch from when he was really at his peak. Still playing well. I don't mean to take anything away from him, but just if he was at his absolute prime, this match should have been over some time ago.
There's only been one break and run out, that by Buddy Hall. Well, his best year, I think he won 8 out of 10 tournaments and finished second in the other 2 or something of that nature.
Well, he's had some longevity. I believe he's won tournaments in 4 decades.
There's a cut break.
That was the intentional cut break, and he's affected a good result here.
I don't think he can get on the 2 ball here, Mark. Look at this.
Well, I think he's going to show us a patented Buddy Hall backspin shot.
Well, he can only get on the 2 ball drawing the shot if he can cut the 1 ball just slightly to his left, and it looks a little straightish to me. Now, what he might do is try to get kind of in the middle of the table.
He huffed and he puffed a big breath, and now he's attacking this shot, and I think he's going to go for the big stroke. This will be pretty to watch if he catches a good one.
No, see, he had to cheat the pocket to do that. He got, I thought he was going to get lucky. He had to cheat the pocket just a hair to come down to the right side of the 9 ball, I think.
And this isn't easy to get position for the 2 ball from here due to the proximity of the rail and the cue ball.
Now, let's take the telestrator here,
Really
and I'll show you what I see is the only route to this ball. The 1 ball, 1 rail, right here, 2, and here or here. That's the only way I see to get to that.
Hell, the wheels have just completely come off.
Yeah, he's not thinking clearly and not executing properly, and this is no disrespect against Efren, because I've done this plenty of times in my career. He's already given up the way I perceive the match.
Well, you know, the balls have not cooperated. He's struggling mightily, and then every shot he comes to the table, it's one of these things where, they're, like you diagrammed, there's one way to get there, and that requires supreme, perfect execution to even dream of getting there.
Now, if Buddy's straight in on this, see, I think he can maybe draw that out of there with low left English and go a couple of rails, I think. He's looking at that like he might be able to cut the 2-ball to his left and just float it out above the 5-ball straight away.
Well, he's got some work in front of him, and I'll tell you, if worse comes to worse, I'd just go ahead and roll ahead an inch and play a stop shot on the 5-ball and bank it down table and stick the cue ball right on the 6. Supposed to take a wild chance.
Well, he wants to run out here. This puts him on the hill.
Oh, he slipped around the 9 there pretty nice.
Well, but how did he avoid the 6?
He's not going to be able to, I don't think. I think he's going to have to play to bang the 6 across table a little bit and hope for the best outcome.
Well, he can't use outside in this here. Comfortably, he might scratch cross side. And if he hits the 6, he's got to be careful he doesn't knock the 6 to the end rail, and he could scratch off the 6 in the side pocket.
Well, it's hard to tell. Sometimes they've surprised us before. I'm not sure what English. It looks like he might be able to try to slip around that 6-ball, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he might be able to barely miss it, but it was so beautifully done. Let's see if he uses his left-handed stroke here.
Now he's feeling mighty good about this 10th victory on his side of the ledger.
Now watch how the Rifleman draws his back with his left-handed stroke. Beautiful.
Yep. Near perfection. He's a pretty player to watch. I've always liked this stroke and admired the tempo that he plays at. It's a very, it's a distinguished style that you don't see very many guys use.
Now he'll just pull this back in the middle of the table if he has a bit of the wrong angle. Okay, he was able to get back to hitting before the side. This is ideal. Okay, 10-4, Buddy Hall.
Buddy's really starting to have some fun out here finally, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, the match is over with. I mean,
he's capturing every game.
The match was over with a few games ago, just to judge by the general motif of things.
You know, a 7-game deficit isn't insurmountable, but certainly given the way that Efren has performed and even his general demeanor, it would seem to be just insurmountable at this time.
Well, the odds are 127-1 less the break figures, making it roughly 100-1, but I think it's more than that. The way Efren is playing and just the way he's kind of, I don't know, just woodenly going around the table, not staying down on balls, I make it about 3 million to 1 against him winning this match. If he won this match, I'd call it the greatest comeback in the history of all sports.
You know, it's got to be difficult to be up for every big match week after week, traveling about the country, and that's all that you do. I've often marveled at the fact that he can get up for as many as he does.
Yeah, you're right.
A lot of pro teams and athletes have poor performances after they're on the road for 3 days, and they come home and say they're wore out. You know, this guy's on the road for 6 months of the crack. So I think what we're seeing is just the tail of the tape as far as the what it takes out of you physically to travel, persistently be expected to perform at your absolute finest.
And he's using that cut break. The 9-ball went by the pocket there, and
he's not going to have an easy shot on the opening 2-ball, but he got a couple balls down.
There's the ACCUSTAT numbers. But, you know, this time I don't think that they're, they're uncharacteristically not really accurate. I think Buddy's played a lot better than 8-18, you know? You know how a pitcher sometimes will, he'll pitch a game and, how can I say it?
Well, yeah,
his team only scores 1 run, and he gives up, like 2 runs over an entire game on 4 scattered hits or something. I mean, that's good playing. And Buddy has everything that he's tried to do. I mean, he's done very, very well. Now, he tried to get on the other side of the 4-ball.
I would liken this more to a team that has the pitcher out there that has an 8-run lead, and he decides to just throw strikes and it gets hit a little bit and ends up giving up 5 runs. I mean, Buddy hasn't really performed flawlessly, but he's had the lead chronically. And
but now we're right back to what you touched on. Nothing easy. No matter where he gets, he's got his stuff, you know.
Yeah, he's got his work cut out for him.
Now the 5-9 billiard is fine, but he didn't even make the 3-ball. So that's what I mean.
Now, Buddy's dissatisfied with the outcome of this shot, and I would be elated to get to come to the table again had I been Buddy.
Yeah, so, yeah. Listen, I know Buddy real well, and I promise you that he can have 10 good rolls in a row and get one bad one. He's still going to grouse and grumble and stare at the balls evilly. He forgets those good rolls.
Does that have any effect, or is that purely something psychological for your opponent to chew on? Is that the idea?
Well, it doesn't make one feel great when you're playing, and then he plays great on top of that. So it's not all it's cracked up to be. But at any rate, he'd like to make a nice fat hit on this 3-ball after contacting the second rail, just like this.
That was a nice shot. Executed pretty well. He's left Efren offensive opportunity, but a difficult one at that. And that's just about the story of this match. Efren's been confronted with a lot of difficult challenges. And now he's just not hitting the balls well at all at this juncture. He hit it a little bit fat, but he didn't even come close to getting the cue ball back out there.
No. Well, even if he'd have made the 3-ball just the way the match is going, I don't think he would have gotten out.
At this point, it's kind of like he almost wishes for Dr. Kevorkian to come into this match and go ahead and shut her down.
Yeah, yeah. Are we going to do an interview? Okay. Well, I think if the 3 passes the 8, I think this match is over. Probably. I mean, not 100%.
You know, Efren's coming off back-to-back tournament wins. He won the one-pocket event in Kalamazoo, and then a week previous to that, he'd won the 8-ball in Las Vegas. So he's had a couple big wins, and he just may be burned up.
Well, that happens to all of us, to everybody. That's a good point, too, Mark. I never understood how Varner's done it as long as he has.
Yeah, he's another testimonial to longevity. But he's hit a terrible shot there. He whacked that almost straight into the object ball that was half in the way.
All right, Efren has a chance here to run out. If I see the angle correctly, he wants to float just above the 8-ball, like this.
Well, these outs have been far from routine today.
Well, this is not, there's nothing easy about this one. He's got to be a little careful here.
Well, when we see his A game, there's something routine about it because he gets out every time from these places.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I think he's kind of fighting with himself, and I know that he's unhappy with this.
Yeah, this is not like the Efren Reyes that we love to watch play championship 9-ball. As soon as the 9-ball is pocketed, we will change tapes. We'll be right back.
You never know, too. You know, sometimes you just don't feel well physically, and you can catch a cold or anything, as even some of the announcers have had happen to them. Well, Efren now shifted over to the optimum spot to break on this table, but he didn't get a good result. Buddy's going to mark his score for him. Crowd appreciates that.
Okay.
Had that happened and Buddy been losing, he probably wouldn't have been so gracious.
Well, I don't know.
I don't either. I'm only joking. But a little easier to be nice when you're way ahead.
Yes, it is. Okay, now, the 3 to the 4 requires some special attention. The 2's on the far left-hand side rail. You need a little angle on it to come back down the table for the 3. The problem here is that if he's got to cut that 1 ball to his right a little bit, there's no way to get the right position. So if he can draw out and stay above the 9 ball, he'll be fine. Well,
He may have been using the 9 ball as a little bit of a blocker there to help slow the cue ball's progress down.
well, now that he got here, though, there's no way to get on the 3 ball here without executing a trick shot. There just is no way to do it.
Well, it looks like if he got out there just on top of the 4 or the 5 in that area, they could squeeze between the 6-9. I'm not suggesting that that's an easy shot, however.
Well, I don't know that it goes from there. I think the 6 ball blocks quite a bit of him being able to make the 3 ball. There's no way to, this doesn't draw past the side.
It's hard to go 4 rails and like with inside spin and flatten your ball out a little bit there. You really can't try to snatch it all the way back because that side pocket's so large over there. Very good chance for a scratch. He tried to go punch it across 2 rails, and I think he's going to fall short of the mark here.
Yeah, I really didn't think that he could do that.
It's a tough shot. You had to have awful good speed control when you're hitting the ball that full that eats up that much energy to still punch it that far.
I think he's going to have to take an easy kick at this right-hand English, and he'd like to have the cue ball stop behind the 6 and 8. And he'd like to knock the 3 ball not far. Oh, he can see it. Well, I'm blind, and he made a great position shot. Boy. Well, you want to talk about stereotypical optical illusion. I didn't think he could do any part of that.
Nor did I.
Well, now he's in position.
Yeah, there's really nothing stopping him now. If he just plays good position from here on out, he's out.
The 6 to the 7's a little touchy, but
The 7's so close to the pocket, he can get away with virtual murder if he pockets the 6.
yeah, he's going to look at where and see where he'd like to be right now.
He'll play position and just coast out, but if he had to be a shot maker, he could get out from out of position. I think he's just going to come up to the middle of the table on this one.
I think he wanted an angle where he could come 1 rail out of there underneath the 9. And I don't know if he got that or not. If not, he can draw this back. He's going to draw it, which is fine.
Well, many of the people that watch this tape at home are going to feel a little bit of relief when they see that the likes of Efren Reyes could play a match up here that they could probably defeat.
Well, I think you're right. He's probably just tired. He's been playing a lot and traveling quite a bit.
At some point, a guy's got to break down. Right now, Buddy's about ready to euthanize this match. He's one long stop shot away from cinching virtual completion to the whole match.
And he's going to win this 11-5 and in the process solidify his chances to win this great event too.
Well, he'll be doing it from the loser's side. It certainly is a tough road to hoe. He's going to have to play a lot of matches.
Well, Mark, I want to tell you what a lot of fun it's been to work with you. And
well, Grady, you're the most loquacious commentator we have, and it's always an honor to work with you.
I don't know if that's any good. That's nice of you to say, my friend. That windiness has never helped me in marriage, however.
Well, on behalf of ACCUSTATS, I think we're going to close up this match.
Okay, we might wait a minute and get a final average just for the heck of it and see how they did. It'll be on the screen here. There it is, 821 and 780. But again, even though Pat Fleming doesn't agree with me and the rest of the staff, I think Buddy played better than the 821 reflects. I really do. All right. From all of us at ACCUSTATS, we say thank you, and a special extra thanks from me and Mark Wilson. We'll see you on another great championship 9-ball match.